Today I'll be talking about a disease that is not common but is not rare, and it's pulmonary hypertension. I was trying to find a quote or something that would help define the unknown and yet known, so I didn't find one. I came up with one, and it is, "There's no worse disease than the one unknown, because the unknown kills the human hope." So, pulmonary hypertension, how it works is basically, we all know that the heart is a beating muscle that pumps oxygenated blood to the entire body. After leaving the heart, the blood must pass through the lungs first in order to go to the rest of the body. In order for the blood to move from the heart to the lungs, the blood must travel through the pulmonary artery and then into smaller and smaller vessels so that it can get to the lung. The diameter or the tone of the blood vessels are regulated by particles or substances that travel or circulate through the blood. And pulmonary hypertension is basically, it happens when these substances are elevated or increased abnormally. The condition of pulmonary hypertension, basically it's not the blood pressure like the normal diastolic systolic blood pressure that you can measure with the arm, which is not that serious. It can be controlled easily. This one it has to do with the artery, the main artery, and the heart and the lungs, two vital organs for the human body. So when the arteries are thicker, the heart has to work harder to pump more blood into the lungs, and the lungs also have to work harder to get more oxygenated blood to the body. This can cause the pressure of the artery to become abnormally elevated. Because the heart has to work harder to pump blood, the right side of the heart can become abnormally enlarged and heart failure can develop. And usually having big muscles is good, but the heart is not good to have big muscles because the right side will start to get bigger and push onto the left side and therefore getting right heart failure. So, it is not a curable disease and it's a chronic, so basically you're just stuck with it. There's not really a factor of people that have it, so it's not only for women, it's not only for men, not only for Caucasian, etc. So, a multi-central registry of data collected by the National Heart and Lung and Blood Institute showed that out of 106 patients with pulmonary hypertension, 73% of the deaths were caused by the right ventricle failure. So, the true prevalence of PH in general population is unknown, although PH was traditionally considered to affect women of childbearing potential. It is now known that it can affect both women and men of all ages and all nationalities, race. The best illustrated prevalence of PH in general public came from a study that collected the mortality rate from the National Surveillance Database. So this showed that out of the African American population, 7.3 out of 100,000 people had pulmonary hypertension. Caucasian population, 5.3 out of 100,000 had pulmonary hypertension. And women, 5.5 out of 100,000 had the PH disease. And for men, 5.4 out of 100,000 had pulmonary hypertension. So, again, it's not picky, it doesn't care. The registry to evaluate early and long-term PH disease, it's also known as REVEAL. This was used to track as much as possible the disease with people that were already diagnosed with pulmonary hypertension, because the disease was unknown and it's not a very common disease, so not thousands of people have it, but it's not rare that only 100 have it. So as of right now, there's 3,500 patients that are confirmed with pulmonary hypertension. Do you guys have any questions?
How did you get diagnosed with pulmonary hypertension?
So I would recommend talking to your doctor about your symptoms, and maybe they can order an echocardiogram, and that can help determine with the echocardiogram, the pressures in the artery, and then more tests would be done after that. Thank you. Any more questions?
No.
Thank you.